This call is now being recorded.
Okay, class, good morning. How do you do today?
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning to you too. I hope you are all in good condition, yeah, and stay healthy. All right, and then make sure you're having your breakfast first, lah, yeah. Before this, you have class, right? If I'm not mistaken, bahasa Cina, right? Okay.
Yes.
DC, right? Okay, never mind. So is it okay lah? We start a bit late. Maybe you want to prepare something or whatever. So now it's 9:07. So maybe I give it another 2 minutes lah, before I start. Yeah. Maybe I'll give another couple of minutes lah, before we start, right? So now it's 20, 25, 23. 23 student. Okay.
Your headphone, where do you put?
Headphone.
Where to move?
When to put? Wait.
Tell me.
Okay, sorry for the interruption. All right, can we start now?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, so
Yes.
sound check. Okay, maybe you already heard my voice, and then I want you to check whether you can see my presentation. Can you see my presentation?
Yes. Yes, teacher.
Okay, very good. All right, good. So your how about your textbook? You already get your textbook or when? Oh, sorry.
No.
Your textbook.
Thursday.
Okay. This Thursday, I'm also forgot. Sorry. This Thursday, you'll be getting your textbook. This Thursday, and then according to the time lah, make sure you come, and then take the textbook lah. Workbook already buy, right? Workbook you already buy,
Yes.
I think last week. Yes, okay, good. But textbook, please come to the school, to the school at Thursday, according to the time lah. Okay, so we continue today. Make sure you can see, can hear my voice, and then you can see my presentation. So today we continue topic 1.2, your science laboratory, science laboratory. Okay. When you come to the secondary school, we have what we call a science laboratory. Maybe later on I will take the video and then I will show you our own school laboratory for Form 1. Okay, but right now I just want to explain you based on the textbook first, right? So in your primary school, there is a science room. Okay, but in the secondary school, when you go to the secondary school Form 1, you are starting to go what we call a science laboratory or the science lab. Okay, science lab is what we call the place that we do all the experiment. We try to do all the activity involving the science. Okay, so you need to know something about science laboratory before we enter the science. Maybe when the PKP is over and then you can come to the school again, then we go to lab, we will enter the lab and then see the lab for yourself. But right now I just explained to you based on the textbook on what you need to know about our science laboratory or the science lab here, right? Okay, next one. What is our science laboratory? It's meaning that room equipped to conduct scientific investigation. Like I said earlier, it's a special room where has all the equipment that we need in order to carry the activity or the experiment. Okay, scientific investigation or experiment. And then there are many type of material and apparatus. Yeah, you must understand this. There are many type of material and apparatus found in the laboratory. Okay, for what? For example, measuring cylinder, and we go through this after this. Okay, so this is the example of typical. This is an example of typical science laboratory. Okay, we have maybe in our laboratory we have 8 tables, and then one table we have maybe about 4 students, but during the SOP maybe limited to 2 students only lah, yeah? And then we have all the equipment here. If you look at the picture here, we have all the equipment, and then each table we have their own sink over here, and then we have all the equipment, and then the PowerPoint here, the power plug here for using what we call electrical device here. Okay, this is a typical example, right? This is a typical example on what you will get in our science laboratory. Maybe later on I will take some video or footage of our own science lab, but that is later on, right? So number 1, this is you must remember. Okay, the apparatus, right? The apparatus commonly used in laboratory and their function. Apparatus and then their function, right? So we'll look one by one. This is the first apparatus. Okay, this is what we call a boiling tube. Okay, these are the symbol or the diagram. If you need to draw the boiling tube in your diagram or in your book, these are the what we call the symbol of or the drawing of boiling tube. Okay, and then next one, what's the function? Okay, the function of boiling tube, you just remember here, is to heat small amount of chemical. Okay, and then the boiling tube here is made from glass. Okay, it's made from glass, so you must handle it correctly. All right, so this is apparatus number 1, boiling tube. Okay, so apparatus number 2, this is what we call by test tube. Okay, what is the function of test tube? The function of test tube is to hold small amount of chemical, just to hold this amount of chemical. Okay, if you look at this both apparatus, okay, you must remember what is apparatus. Apparatus is the tool. Okay, is the what we call the tool we use to conduct an experiment or activity. Okay, now my question is, What is the difference between these two? Anybody can tell me?
Boiling tube only can heat. Test tube only can hold heat.
Okay, very good. Yes, correct. Test tube, we only hold small amount of chemical. We cannot use test tube to heat it up. Okay. After this, you will learn about what we call a Bunsen burner. Boiling tube. If you have we want to heat the what we call the chemical. We use boiling tube, but you cannot use test tube to heat the chemical because maybe the test tube will break. All right. And then another thing you notice is that the boiling tube is much larger, the size of it. Can you different it? Test tube is much smaller. Test tube is the size of test tube is much smaller. Make sure you try to compare the two boiling tube and test tube, and then make sure you use it correctly. If you want to heat something, you use boiling tube, and then if you want to hold small amount of chemical, you just use the test tube here. Okay, right. So apparatus number 3. We have, apparatus number 3, right? Okay, we have here beaker. Okay, this is the example of beaker. And then we have conical flask, and then we have flat bottom flask. Okay, make sure you identify what we call, you know the name of the apparatus, and then you just remember how to draw it, the diagram of the apparatus here. Right? Again, this is beaker. This is how you draw the beaker in your diagram later. And then this is conical flask. And then this is flat bottom flask. Okay? There are actually many sizes of beaker. There are large beaker. There are smaller beaker. But the function is only one. One function only. What's the function? Again, the function of these 3 apparatus is to hold larger amount of chemical. Okay. If you compare with the test tube only small amount of chemical, but you use beaker, you use conical flask, and then flat bottom flask for whole larger amount of chemical. Okay. Larger amount of chemical here. Okay. There are many sizes. Especially beaker. Beaker has many sizes. Okay, according to the unit here lah. For example, here I think it's about maybe about 250 milliliter of beaker. There are smaller beaker. There is larger beaker. Okay. Right. So next one. Okay. Next one is what we call measuring cylinder. Okay, measuring cylinder. As the name implies, the function is to measure the volume of liquid. Okay, and then this is how you draw the measuring cylinder, and then these are the real picture of measuring cylinder. Okay, we want to measure. What is the unit if you want to measure liquid? Usually you use what unit? Anybody?
ml.
ml, yes, very good. We use milliliter or use liter. And then also with measuring cylinder come in various size. Yeah. Some can measure up to 1000 milliliter or 1 liter, and then some maybe can measure up to 100 milliliter. Vary in size. Okay, so make sure you understand. These are the apparatus, and then here is how you draw the apparatus, and then the function is to measure the volume of liquid. Okay. Okay, we continue to the next. We continue to the next apparatus. All right. Okay, this one we call it a Buret. A Buret. Okay, Buret. What is the function of Buret here? Also to measure the volume of liquid. Okay, the function is like same as the measuring cylinder, but we use Buret to measure the volume more accurately. So if we need to measure the volume of liquid more accurately, accurate than the measuring cylinder, so we use Buret. Okay, and then again you must identify the real one, the real picture, and then this is how you draw the Buret inside your reports. Maybe after the experiment you need to draw the diagram, so these are the diagram. Okay, next one is what we call a pipette. Okay, pipette. This is pipette. What are the function of pipette? Again, same function, but what's the difference? Okay, who can give me the difference? What's the pipette function? Measure this is the difference, yeah? To measure the fixed volume. Fixed volume. Fixed volume here, the pipette only measure about 20, not about, yeah? The pipette here only measure the liquid, 25 milliliter of liquid only. You can see the notch here. You can see the notch here. It only can measure accurately about 25 milliliter of liquid. That's all. Fixed volume. Okay. How about the Buret? Buret fixed volume, or we can measure many volume. Buret we can measure many volume, right? Measuring cylinder also we can measure the liquid in many volume. But pipette, you just remember, pipette fixed volume, only 25 milliliter, exactly at 25 milliliter measured by the pipette. Okay, can you understand this? Any question?
No.
Okay, good. So next one, this is what we call a tripod stand. Tri mean three. Tripod mean we got the three leg. This one the first leg, and then the second leg, and the third leg. And then the diagram, if you want to draw the tripod stand, no need to draw the three leg lah. Just enough for you to draw like this. Okay. And then what is the function of the tripod stand? To support apparatus during heating. Okay, to support the apparatus during heating. Usually at the top of the tripod stand we put beaker. If you want to heat something, yeah, we put beaker, or we put the conical flask, or we put what, flat bottom flask at the top of the tripod stand. Okay, you just remember tripod stand we just to support apparatus during the heating. All right. Okay, next one is the wire gauze. Wire gauze, the function is to spread the heat evenly during heating. And then the wire gauze, actually we put the wire gauze at the top of the tripod stand, then we put the beaker or any apparatus if we want to heat something here. Okay, this is wire gauze. Right. Next one is the filter funnel. What is the function of filter funnel? To filter or to separate insoluble solid from mixture. Insoluble mean what? For example, if you put sand in the water, the sand will dissolve or not dissolve? Anybody? If you put sand in the water, it will dissolve or not dissolve? Anybody? Can you understand my question?
Not dissolve.
It will not dissolve, right? Because the sand or the rock is what we call insoluble solid. It will not what we call dissolve, or it will not melt in the water. It will not dissolve in the water. So can we separate from water and sand? Can we separate the two substance? Yes, yeah, we can separate the two substance by using what? By using a filter funnel here. But you need to put the filter paper first lah. Later we do this. We need to put the filter paper here. Then we can what we call separate the water from what we can separate the sand from the water, insoluble solid from, or the insoluble solid from the mixture here. Okay, right. Next one, this is the glass jar. As the name implies, the function of gas jar is to contain the gas. Okay, what is the gas you already learned in primary school? Oxygen, right? Carbon dioxide, hydrogen. That is the example of gas. Okay, these are the picture, and then these are the diagram or the picture, not the picture, the diagram or the symbol of gas jar. Okay, so we continue next. All right. So our next apparatus is retort stand with the clamp. So what is the function? To hold or support the apparatus. Okay. Maybe you put the Buret here, you put the pipette, you put the Buret, and then you put the conical flask here, in order to hold or support the apparatus, right? So next one is the evaporating dish. This is the picture of evaporating dish, and then what are the function? The function is to evaporate excess solvent. What's meaning by evaporate? Anybody can explain to me? Tell me what is meaning by evaporate. Evaporate. Yes.
The liquid become the gas.
Yes. Evaporate mean very good. Evaporate mean the liquid will become the gas. Okay. Or evaporate. Right. Okay. Very good. Right. Any problem with the apparatus? So make sure you understand. Right. Make sure you understand the identify the apparatus, identify how you want to draw the apparatus, and then how do you want to what we call the function of the apparatus. Okay, make sure you understand that. Okay. Any problem?
No.
Okay. All right. Experiment apparatus diagram. Okay, just wait for a moment, yeah. Okay. An image in the tab. The label. Okay, never mind. We want to show you some picture. Okay, never mind. All right, make sure you understand, understand and identify the apparatus and their diagram, how you want to draw the apparatus on your reports, and then their function. Right? So this is number 1. All right. So we continue number 2. All right. Number 2 is the symbol of hazardous material in laboratory. Okay. If you still remember, just now we learned about the apparatus in the science laboratory. Apparatus is the what? Is the tool, for example, is the tool we use during experiment. So if you still remember, just now I tell you about, there are two what we call things you need to remember. One is apparatus, one is material. Okay, there are different things. One is apparatus, one is material. Apparatus you already learned. Okay, for example, test tube, boiling tube, retort stand, and then all the what we call the Buret, the Pipette, and then the tripod stand, wire gauze. That is all apparatus. And then what is material? Material is the things we call it the things that we use in the experiment. Okay, the substance or the chemical or the what we call the things that we use during the experiment. For example, here, okay, maybe we use acid. Okay, or maybe we use sugar. Sugar is material, for example. Maybe we use salt. Salt is a material. Okay, maybe we use others chemical, and then the chemical usually we put inside the bottle like this. Okay, we store the chemical in a bottle like this. Maybe there is a small bottle, or maybe there is a big bottle where we store all the chemical substance, for example, acid, alkali, or whatever. All right. So this is the example of we call material. Apparatus already learned. Apparatus, make sure you understand the 13 basic material apparatus in the science lab. But now we're going to learn about the material in the laboratory. Material. All right. And then some of the material is hazardous. What's mean by hazardous? Anybody? What's mean by hazardous?
Harmful.
Very harmful. Yes, very good. Hazardous mean harmful, and then you can say it's very dangerous. Dangerous, why? Why we call it hazardous material? Because maybe if you try to touch it, you will feel you may get injury if you touch the material, or you try to smell the material, maybe you will get dizzy or you will get injury. So that is what we call by hazardous. All right. So they are a symbol. Actually, they are a symbol to show you or to tell you that this chemical here, maybe the chemical here is hazardous. Okay, there is a hazard symbol. So the hazard symbol usually will state in the label here. For example, in each bottle or in each container of the chemical or the substance or the material, will always use. Okay, we always show the symbol. This is the symbol of the hazardous material in the bottle. You must always aware. This is another symbol, and then this is another symbol. You must always aware of this symbol. Not just aware. You must understand what the symbol is all about, and then what is the explanation behind the symbol. Okay, because not all material is because some of the material that we use later, maybe when you come to the school, we do the experiment, some of the material we use is dangerous. Okay, is, or we call it, is hazardous. Okay, so what are the symbols you need to understand? Okay, the first symbol is irritant. This one, irritant. Okay, and then if you can see at label here, there is a cross sign here. There's a cross sign here. All right. Irritant, meaning that it is the chemical is what we call is irritant chemical, meaning that if you will irritate, because the chemical will release the vapor or the fume that will hurt the eye, nose, or throat. Now, this is what we call by irritant, meaning that you must avoid inhaling or smelling the vapor or the fume. Okay, because once you try to smell the vapor or you want to smell the chemical get into your eye or your nose, inside your throat, you will become sick. Okay, you irritate mean maybe you have some what we call discomfort on your eye may become watery eye, your throat will become very what we call very sore throat, in pain, because you accidentally maybe smelling or inhaling the vapor. So this is irritant. What is the example of irritant chemical? Chloroform and ammonia, right? Chloroform and ammonia. This is example of irritant. Okay, so you must avoid what? You must avoid inhaling it, or you must avoid smelling it, right? Okay, number two is what we call by radioactive. Okay, you can see the look like a fan here, the symbol here look like a fan here. Okay, what is the function? What's the explanation? Material that emit radioactive ray can cause cancer. Example, uranium and plutonium. Okay, but in Form 1, mostly we do not keep the radioactive substance in the school. No, there is no radioactive substance in the school. Maybe in the larger laboratory or in the what we call in the university, there are radioactive material. Okay, but in the school we do not hold this one. Okay, you just try to understand that this is the symbol of radioactive. Okay, it's just a material. For example, it's just a material, but it can emit radioactive ray. We cannot see the ray, but if the ray what we call penetrate the body of human, the body of human can become cancer. For example, X-ray. X-ray is radioactive substance. Yeah, you go to the hospital. You maybe have the guy maybe have the broken bone. You want to see the X-ray. X-ray are using radioactive, but a very small amount. Okay, cannot cause cancer. Okay, X-ray at the hospital is example of radioactive material. Okay, right. So next one is corrosive. As the name said here, corrosive mean, what's the mean by corrosive? It will burn your skin. If you come in contact of corrosive material, it will burn. Okay, it will burn the skin, and it will hurt the skin. All right. So you, if you, in case of contact, wash the affected area with lots of water. What's the example? Concentrated acid and alkali. This example, you must handle the material very, very careful, because when touch your skin will be burned. Okay, your skin will be hurt. Right? So these are the symbol. Make sure you understand or identify the symbol. Right? So next one is poison or toxic. You can see here the skull here, very scary. You know, they use the scary picture with bone and skull here, crossbone, and then we got the skull, right? Okay, meaning that it is very, very dangerous material or dangerous chemical. Why? Because it can what we call make you very sick, or maybe you can die from it if you what? If you drink it, eat, smell, or taste the chemical. Please do not try to, you know, ingest it, right? Smell it or taste the chemical. Then do not do that, because it is very poisonous and very toxic. If you do that, you may feel very, very uncomfortable. And then if you are untreated, will lead to death. Ni boleh membawa maut lah di sini ya. So example, mercury and chlorine. Please be aware of the label here. Please be aware of the label. At the bottle of the chemical, we have the label. Please be aware of this. Okay. So next one is explosive. Explosive, of course, you can see the the substance is exploding, according to the picture here, meaning that the what we call the substance or the chemical is easy to explode. Okay, and then use the chemical very carefully in order to prevent the explosion. Example, hydrogen gas or butane gas, right? It can explode. Large quantity, maybe it can explode. But small quantity, maybe you just hear the pop only, the pop sound, right? But large quantity, it may explode. And then what happens if there is a big explosion? Of course, a building can be damaged, and then human can be, what we call, people can be hurt if big explosion. Okay, the last one here. The last one for the symbol is flammable. You identify the picture here with the fire picture here, right? Of course, flammable mean what? Easily burn, easily vaporize, and it is flammable. Flammable means easy to get burned. All right, and then you must always keep the chemical away from fire or heat sources. Okay, example of the flammable chemical, alcohol and petrol. Okay, you must understand this. This is very popular question, and I hope you can understand all the symbol regarding the substance or the chemical that we may use in our activity or experiment in the lab later on. Okay, how many symbol? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 6 symbol here. Okay, any question?
No.
Okay, good. All right, good.
No.
Okay, good. So I continue. So now it's 9:44. Maybe I will try to finish 1.2. I will try to finish 1.2. Yeah. Right. So this is just for your reading. We have what we call here a laboratory rules. Okay, laboratory rules. Why we need to imply the rules? Why you need to follow the rule? Because we do not want unwanted incident. Okay, that's why we need to follow the rules. Right? Rules are not there for for what we call nothing to do. Because there is an accident in the lab. Sometimes when you that's why you need to adhere or follow the rules, because we do not want you to get accident, or we do not want you to become injured. Because inside the laboratory, for example, in the apparatus, you already learned about the apparatus, right? The test tube, the boiling tube, all the apparatus mostly are made from the glass, from glass, right? Glass, if you drop the glass on the floor, it will break. It will break, and then maybe the shrapnel or the pieces of glass that is broken can lead to the what we call, can cut your hand. Okay, that's why we need to follow the rules. Okay, because there are so many devices, there are so many apparatus that may injure you if you not follow the rules. Okay, one by one, very easy here. I think you can read it for yourself, right? Number 1, do not enter the laboratories without permission. Of course, only when there is a teacher, then you can enter the lab. Number 2, never start an experiment without teacher instruction. Always follow teacher instruction, and then always read the instruction. That is very, very, very important here, right? Number 3, read and understand the instruction of the experiment. Number 4, use the chemical and apparatus correctly and carefully. later on when you go to the lab, we try to do the experiment. Okay, we try to how to use the apparatus correctly. Next one, eating, drinking, and playing are prohibited. Prohibited mean here you cannot do this in the laboratory. You cannot running around. You cannot eating. You cannot play in the room, in the lab, right? Okay, number 4, do not take apparatus and chemical out of the laboratory. Everything in the laboratory, keep in the laboratory. You cannot bring it out unless you got permission from the teacher. Yeah. Okay. Next one. After using, keep the apparatus and chemical in their original place. Where do you take the apparatus or the material? You use it and then you put it back. Yeah? The apparatus and the chemical. Next one, make sure you place to conduct the experiment is always neat and clean. The table here, the table when you conduct experiment is always clean. Next one, wash all the apparatus and throw away waste material according to the correct procedure. After you use the apparatus, you must what we call wash it, and then if there is a residue or the balance of the chemical, you must throw it away. Okay, mesti buang lah. You cannot use or you cannot reuse the material. Usually the material you cannot be reused. You take small and then you do the experiment. You take the small amount of chemical. You do the experiment, and then after you finish the experiment, you must throw away the balance. Okay, you cannot put back the balance of the experiment inside the bottle bag. You cannot. You must throw it all away. All right. Next one, the last one. Wash your hand with soap and water before leaving the laboratory. Always wash your hand and soap before leaving. Okay. Right. Next one, safety measure when using chemical and apparatus. For example, here, you want to heat the chemical. You cannot point the mouth of the test tube or the boiling tube at your face or others people. Because maybe when you heat the chemical will boil and then it will spill a bit. So you must be careful about this, because you are later on in the experiment you will be using a lot of Bunsen burner, or you will not heating something. Yeah, you heat this the thing in order to get the result here. Okay, and then number 2, you use safety goggle here. This is safety goggle. Usually we provided the goggle for you lah, in order to conduct the experiment. All right. Number 3, keep highly flammable chemical away from any sources of heat sources. You still remember the label, the flammable and the explosive label. Make sure you understand that. Keep away from heat or fire, because afraid if there is an explosion or the things catch fire, it will what we call hurt you. It will injure you. Okay. Next one, do not taste something. Do not taste or smell anything unless allowed by the teacher. Because we are using a lot of chemical, you cannot just simply smell it or you just inhale it, because it maybe it is very, very dangerous to do. Right? Okay, next one. This is the last one. What happens if accident occur? Number 1, do not panic. And number 2, always conduct or always tell your teachers. Okay, and then the teacher know how to do about it. Right? So, number 1, if there is fire, turn off the electricity and then inform the teacher. Number 2, if chemicals spill, also report to the teacher. Do not try to clean it. Do not try to clean it. But of course lah, if the water spill, of course you can clean it. But if there is another chemical, especially chemical with the hazardous material, okay, if spill, do not do not try to clean it, and then you just ask the teacher or the lab assistant to come to assist you. Okay, and then avoid contact with the chemical. And then if you accidentally contact with the chemical, you rinse it off with a plenty of water. This is very important here, right? But most important thing, you need to report to the teacher on what happened. Don't worry, if you spill something, if you drop something or you break something, don't worry, the teacher won't get angry to you. Okay? Unless that you are playing around, you are running around, playing around in the lab, and then something drop and then break, then you will be punished lah. But if you accidentally drop something and you break something, do not worry, we are in the process of learning, right? Okay, so but we must also, like I said earlier, follow the rules, follow the teacher's instruction, then everything will be okay. Okay, so later on, if you're going to, if you're able to come to school, maybe after the PKP is finished, we will be, there are about 3.5 hours per week. For science, 3.5 hours per week. 1.5 hours, sorry, 2.5 hours will be activity in the lab. So we will be, most of the time, if you come to school, we will be in the lab. Okay, I don't know when lah. Okay, because the case right now is very high, we also don't know when you will be able to come to school, but never mind. Okay, so your homework for today, like usual, after I finish each the subtopic, you must do the formative practice. All right, so you do the formative practice 1.2, you copy the question and then you answer it on your exercise book. Formative practice 1.2. Okay, this is your homework for today. And then the workbook, what type of workbook? I also forgot lah. You already buy the workbook, right? Yes. The science process skill, right? Also forgot lah your science process skill workbook, right? Chan Jing Ying, this book oh, okay. Hey, why different book? Okay. All right. Mesra Digital, right? Mesra Digital, this one. Okay, I already got the book. Okay. All right. For Mesra Digital, for this book, right? Okay, for this book, you finish until question number 4. Okay, question number 4, chapter 1. Okay, bab 1 PBD 1A. You already do the 1A, right? 1A, 1B, and then 2A, 2B, and then question number 3, and then question number 4. You just do the question until question number 4, chapter 1. Okay, never mind. Maybe not clear here. I will tell what the homework, what you need to do in the Telegram group. Okay, I will tell in the Telegram group later on. All right, is it okay?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Okay, very good. Okay, now we stop here. So if you have any question, like usual, you can ask me on the Telegram or in the Google Classroom. Okay, I will give you the exercise, the detail of the exercise I will give you on the Telegram. Okay. Okay, if you have no question, okay, thank you for your cooperation. Thank you for your listening and focus. So we can leave the class now. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Congratulations.
Okay, thank you. See you next time.
Yeah.
See you next class. Bye.